Welcome back to the C-Suite. I'm Danielle Jaworski. In this segment, we're going to be talking about authentic cultures in the workplace. Helping us to have this discussion is Tracy Borreson. She is an authentic culture consultant, really helping organizations and individuals to create these environments where you can be focused on having very safe, human, authentic experiences. So we're going to be talking about these authentic experiences tonight. So Tracy, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you, Danielle. I'm so excited to be here.
This is I know it's going to be a fun conversation. Any conversation with you is really fun. So let's start off when we talk about authentic workplaces or authentic cultures. What does that mean?
Authentic is a very unique way to look at a culture. I will start with that. The most important piece when you think about being authentic is honoring who you are. So who you are as a business. My background is in marketing, and I've always seen businesses as a person. And so if you were going to look at your business as a person, who are they? What do they value? But not only what do you value, but how do those values show up in the work that they do? And it's very interesting because a lot of times people focus on written values, but really what we're talking about when we talk about an authentic culture is what are the lived values in your organization, and how do you communicate, share, build on those values so that it can be a unique space that is a unique representation of you as you being the owner and your team.
Mm-hmm. And when it comes to authenticity, are there different elements or avenues of authenticity when it comes to looking at these values and this unique you that is the organization?
In terms of authentic cultures, I like to speak about 3 pillars. The first of those is authentic leadership. And so this really ties into the concept. I always tie in personal branding into authentic cultures. And the reason is when you look at how an organization functions from the leadership down, all of those people, all of the leaders have unique personal brands. All of the people in your organization have a personal brand. They have values, they have cares, they have emotions, they have worries. And from an authentic leadership perspective, it's important to know who you are so you can show up and honor the realness of who other people are. And if you don't have the practice of doing that, it really is a key starting point for an authentic culture, because if you're going to show up and be totally fake as a leader, probably going to be fakeness in the rest of your culture as well. Second pillar is authentic spaces. Psychological safety is top of mind for everybody coming back from the different working environments during the pandemic. And people have been able to be safe at home, and now they're comparing their work environments to that. And so if you can't create a space where people feel like they can be themselves, that they can say what's worrying them, that they don't have to leave their emotions at the door, because it's not a thing that's possible. Humans can't leave their emotions at the door. It's not like the jacket. People feel removed from the culture. So it's not an authentic representation of everybody if not everybody can show up and be who they authentically are. And last but not least, authentic communication. As humans, we're terrible at assuming other people know what we think. And that's just never true. And if anybody who has a spouse or a child knows that that's just not true. We have to tell people what we feel. We have to tell people what we value. We have to tell people how we're experiencing a situation. Again, we've all experienced this. The same situation can be experienced by 2 different people in a completely different way. And by being able to have these conversations, we get clarity on what that is for other people. And that's how we can honor it. If we don't know it, we can't take it into consideration. So leadership, spaces, and communication, hugely, hugely important.
Hugely. So with all of them being hugely, hugely important, if an organization is looking to start really exploring this idea of an authentic culture, where would they start?
It's my recommendation in terms of where you start is your values. So I have a program that I work my teams through called a brand leadership campfire. And it is about looking at your defined corporate values and looking at how each member of the leadership team, ideally you do it with the whole team, but we start with the leadership team, how each of those people interpret those values. Because if we don't know how they're interpreting it, we have a whole bunch of departments who are working towards the same goal, kind of, but not really. So we get the full alignment there, and we understand that, again, different values manifest for different people in different ways. And so I can say, like, oh, when I see Tracy showing up and doing this, that's her caring about people. When I see Danielle showing up doing this different thing, that's her showing she cares about people. And therefore we have all this alignment. And then being able to trickle that down into the spaces, that this is no good if we're just going to hoard it at the management level. Everybody in the organization needs access to this. And so that is a practice of living your values.
Well, you talked about practicing, and we're really practicing these values and bringing who you are into your workplace. And then one of your pillars is also safe, like these authentic safe spaces. So really, I think, to me, I think those really connect. And or if you start with leadership, but you need that safe space as well, because if you want your employees to start showing up as who they are authentically as a leader, you kind of have to do that too.
Absolutely. And there's places to start, but the three pillars are interwoven throughout the entire process. Like, you can't just have authentic leadership if you don't have an authentic space, because then your leaders can't show up and tell you the truth. Right. And I've been in environments where that is true, or like, let's all have a clearing round and learn how we feel today. And someone says that, and it is not, no, I wasn't talking about personal stuff. I was talking about work stuff. And you're like, well, I am dealing with personal stuff today. So being able, like, every single person needs to feel safe. And this starts with the highest level of leadership, with the CEO. Is the CEO about people feeling safe? And these are theoretically easy questions to ask, but when you really get into it, you're like, ooh, well, how come I'm not creating a place where people can actually tell me how they feel? What is that saying about me? Perhaps there's some work that I need to do as an individual to look at why I can't show up this way right now. And there is, I'm not going to lie, there's a lot of personal and professional development that happens along the past. There's a lot of noticing, when is ego carrying the baton, and where is authenticity carrying the baton, and being able to notice and separate and differentiate and say, like, okay, I choose not to do that. And it's another thing that takes practice. All of these things take practice. And so when we bring all of the pieces together, it is about having safe place for everybody, including upper management, where you as a leader don't have to have all the answers all the time. You're also a human, unless you're a robot, but you're probably a human if you're watching this show. And humans have emotions and personal experiences and different interpretations, and there's so much beauty and gold in those things. And it's about embracing that as the overarching driver, as your culture, but knowing that your unique values as an organization look different than another organization, and none of those are right or wrong, but it's about honoring those and building on those.
So thank you, Tracy, for having this conversation with us and really talking about this subject. Really, it's something I'm sure leaders are trying to do, and create these safe spaces for their employees, that they feel good coming to work and they feel valued and supported. So thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you, Danielle. So fun.
You're welcome. Yes, absolutely. So fun.